Rishi Sunak, he hasn't got a clue, has he? He frankly doesn't live in the real world. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me how he is allowing the energy companies to get away with daylight robbery, how he lost billions of dodgy COVID loans, and has conveniently shied away from getting government departments to scale back on wasted expenditure. The NHS springs to mind, all of which would plug the current cavern in the country's finances. And don't get me started about foreign aid. He was throwing money around as though it was going out of fashion during the pandemic, and he had to do that anyway because otherwise the country would have gone belly up. He somehow forgot to chuck some towards many of the self-employed, and about 3 million hard-working people, basically the lifeblood of the economy, were left to live off shirt buttons. Now, just as we're getting ourselves upright, he's at it again. But he seems to be throwing the money towards the wrong people, creating policies that go against the grain of common sense and creating misery in their wake. In my eyes, this is happening because many of our politicians do not have a grasp on the real world because they don't actually live in it. The policing minister, Kit Malthouse, claimed that Rishi did understand the real world. He said, "Remember, the Chancellor, just like every MP, is rooted in the experience of his constituency, sitting down in his surgeries, as I will be doing later today, talking to the constituents about their problems and how they live under problems they face." Well, is Rishi rooted to this experience?
Now, I sit here till about 10 o'clock with no light on, and I make a flask of coffee or tea to last me all the time, so that I'm not using. I don't think I'm going to be alive for Christmas because I won't be able to keep myself warm.
Or this one?
Working really hard to make ends meet and provide a really good quality service, and you know, just seems a bit unfair really that we're all suffering.
No, I thought not. Rishi made light of the flack he's been getting and compared himself to Will Smith in that people were taking a pop at his wife, who's a billionaire, by the way. I mean, you couldn't make this up. As part of the ministerial code, they must declare the interests of their significant other, especially if, say, for example, they have a £1 billion stake in a company, and even more so if that company is currently trading in Russia, for obvious reasons. Rishi failed to declare this, and to my knowledge, this company is still trading with Russia, despite the sanctions being applied across the world to defund Putin's war machine. Rishi either doesn't understand the true reality for those of us on the ground, or he simply doesn't care. If you squeeze the lifeblood out of the population through taxation, you restrict the growth of the economy and the wealth of the nation. So I challenge you, Rishi, to live a week in the shoes of the people who will face the highest level of misery, because the sums don't add up, and that is the problem with this current crisis. If our Chancellor did the math, he would actually know this.